of the rim. Got it! Oh, the slam! Oh, using Curry way downtown. Oh, what a shot from Curry!
There's a wob tweet out there, something to the effect of, if you were to split the Oklahoma City Thunder roster in half, both sides would make the playoffs. And unfortunately, I think he might be right. I've been keeping up with this team's development through the years, watched them put it all together in 2025, and here starting the 26th season, given their combination of young talent, picks, and contracts, I'm becoming of the opinion they just might be the perfect team. So today we're going to go into detail about why, and of course a video about the perfect team requires the perfect sponsor. Shout out to Viore for sponsoring today's video. They provide performance apparel that's stylish and comfortable enough for most occasions. Clean, easy, and made to move. There's no better example than their Stratotech polo I'm rocking, which is super lightweight and soft compared to shirts I have that look similar. Then there's the Meta Pants. Very stylish and can be used for multiple occasions due to their jogger level stretch. But it finishes like a real pair of pants, as you can see. No sag or droop, just a clean tapper and deep pockets that don't wreck the silhouette when you toss your phone or keys in. Then when the Florida temperature dips even a little bit, I throw on the beach fleece. It does indeed have that cozy feel you might imagine while looking at it, without the heavy sticky weight. Trust, if it didn't work in this heat, I'd know. They also included a simple, low profile but stylish hat, and it pairs with everything. Bottom line, Viore builds pieces that look sharp and feel good while you're actually living life, assuring that whatever the day turns into, you'll be comfortable throughout it. Hit the link in the comment section and description to check out Viore for yourself and level up the rotation. Thanks again to Viore for sponsoring today's video. Shai is currently averaging 36 points a game, and this is while shooting 24% from 3. Yeah, a lot of his 3-point looks have been extremely tough. It's besides the point right now though. They've been winning, he's been dominating, and it's more or less picking up from where he left off in 2025. Of course, the biggest criticism with him is always going to be free throws. Every generation of player has these guys, the one guy that everyone looks and says, hey, that's a foul grifter. And while he's certainly got some egregious examples, I will point out a lot of the times he creates space, everyone falls for that pump fake. Because of his incredible balance and pace, he might be one of the best players I've ever seen in getting to his spots. He's so proficient at it, they're not even healthy and a lot of teams still just have to resort to trapping him. If he's able to get on an island, he is going to get to his spot or somebody is going to get open. The balance really is his biggest edge. It's part of the reason he draws so many fouls. The angles he's able to take, the way he stops on a dime, it's all very conducive to getting a defensive player out of their position, and what do they do when that happens? They foul. So love him or hate him, even when he's not shooting free throws, he is still pretty much an impossible cover. And that's such a big issue because of the amount of talent he has around him. It is unbelievable. I'll go ahead and start with the quote-unquote new piece in AJ Mitchell, who is not really new. Last year he was just hurt and he was showing flashes. The problem for the rest of the league right now is those flashes have turned into consistency. He currently ranks as their third leading scorer, averaging 18 points on 47% from the field. But more important than the numbers is how he fits with this team. Right now, if you're hovering around the league, you notice an epidemic where teams are kinda short on ball handlers. There's been this trend where every big wing who can kinda dribble gets put in an initiator spot, and a lot of them really don't need to be. Well, the Thunder not only have Shai, who is pretty much a 2 who's been able to play the 1, they have an actual point guard in AJ Mitchell who can come off the bench and also play in the lineup with Shai. This is particularly why through 4 games, you just haven't felt the absence of anybody. Take the Indiana game for instance. With Shai already being a tough cover, they throw AJ Mitchell out there who figures out Ben Shepherd just can't guard him. So there goes another advantage on the house. He's then also hustling for rebounds and playing good defense. But now Shai is able to play off ball. He's able to set screens for AJ. Both of them are extreme offensive threats. This is a guy who doesn't start. He didn't play last year really. He did, but he wasn't there for most of it. This is essentially an added dynamic to a team that was already dominant. He is more of an offensive threat than Caruso. I cannot stress how ridiculous it is to have a talent like this essentially feel like he popped up. So he and Shai play off of each other as if they've been playing together for years. And this is before you even get into discussing Chet Holmgren. He didn't have the greatest finals, and on this Thunder team, you could argue he really hasn't needed to be the big producer we might have thought he was going to be when he came out of the draft. The roster's so deep, a lot of the times, rim protection, just playing good defense and hitting a couple threes is good enough. Well, with so many guys out consistently, he's taking more shots and especially more threes. He's currently hitting on 42% of those and averaging 23 points a game. Yes, this is where you're going, oh yeah, they were talking a lot about Shai and J-Dub last year, and then J-Dub goes out, and now the guy who seemed out of the draft perfectly capable of being a dual piece is pretty much doing just that now. Just in the early samples, I feel like his bag has gotten deeper. He's playing a lot tougher with his back to the basket, and of course, if he's hitting his threes like this, the pick and pop dynamic is even more dangerous. 38% wasn't bad last year, and it's very early. I feel like it'll probably stabilize around there, but if it stays above 40, oh yeah, Godspeed. The aggressive drives toward the rim, the prowess to immediately step in and be the second option. This is a guy who, when J-Dub comes back, will almost certainly see a reduction, but you're just gonna know that it's there. Where the Thunder really have people beat, and you've kind of already seen it in just discussing the first three players I wanted to talk about, it's their versatility. Against Atlanta, I watched them start Cason Wallace, who did not have a great night, but he played his role. He had 3 steals, he's a pest on the ball, he might be the player you have to think the most about dribbling around in the league. And then in the second half, they got more AJ Mitchell heavy. So they go from a guy who was maybe 1 of 7, I believe, to immediately inserting another scoring option and it working out exactly how you think it would. Once again, the catch. I was just talking about 2 bench guys. They're so deep, they are swapping bench pieces for bench pieces in the starting lineup out of necessity and still dominating. Speaking of those, Aaron Wiggins on 6 attempts is shooting 37% from 3. So we can run him off the screens, get the defense moving around, but he can also go downhill. Just like almost every other OKC player, he's gonna hustle for loose balls, possibly tap one away and get you an extra possession. This is just one of their numerous wing options, and he's averaging 13 points a game. The whole thing about Aaron Wiggins saved basketball, it's not a joke. I've actually seen it with my own eyes. So then last offseason's pickups. When it happened, I was wondering how the rest of the league just allowed OKC to grab Caruso and Hardenstein in the same offseason. They patched both of their deficiencies from 2024 on the spot. Caruso has played exactly 1 game due to a concussion. That versatile piece who, coming into this year, is probably not even going to have to do a lot of the ball handling for the second unit. There's AJ Mitchell now, and it makes a lot more sense to have him with the ball. Hardenstein gives them the double big lineup, which kind of speaks to a trend you've seen in the league. I mean, if you've been around since the mid-2010s, we thought the bigs were disappearing, and now multiple teams are running double bigs. They just won a championship doing it, and so once again, they go into Atlanta, and I'm thinking, okay, what do they do with Jalen Johnson? Well, Jalen Johnson doesn't play that game, and so they start double big to try and match it. A lot of teams are not really going to be able to match the versatility of Hardenstein and Holmgren as double bigs. Hardenstein is a great connective piece with size. He can make the right passes, but also he's got a little floater, so off of pick and roll, he's not a guy you can just be comfortable ignoring. You can't just clog the paint. He will just give you the floater. Or he'll lob it up to Chet, who is athletic and quick enough to play with a legitimate center. I've not mentioned Lou Dort today. First of all, we talk about green lights on offense. I'm just gonna be honest, Dort has the green light on defense. Some of the things I've seen him get away with in guarding guys, it's actually kind of egregious, but I will say, watching the 2025 playoffs obsessively, there did seem to be a specific focus in upping the physicality of the game. So I saw a lot of jersey grabbing, a lot of holding, really a lot of fouls, and they just let him play. So even with that, yes, I still consider Lou Dort to have the green light. It's a little bit ridiculous, but even without that, he's an extremely solid defender. He's just one of many options you could put at the point of attack. And he's improved so much from 3 over the last few seasons, you don't even remember the time where he was a guy you would ignore out there. That being said, he is shooting horribly from 3 right now. It's only been 4 games though. We're not making any determinations. He is still a guy defenses are going to run out at. But I am interested to see if it's a relapse this season, because that would be kind of a big deal maybe on this Thunder roster, maybe not. So although Shea is proficient on that side of the ball, look how many defenders this team has to cover him. Look how many defenders they have to throw at the main matchup so he doesn't have to get in foul trouble. And then the bigs behind him to back him up. Genuinely, what do you do against this team? I don't know. Well, I do know, actually. In the 2025 playoffs, Denver almost owned them out of existence. A couple of teams tried to turn it into a Shea versus everybody thing, and J-Dub came up clutch when he needed to. That'll probably be even less effective this year if Chet is going to continue to be able to grow into his own. And that's why I keep saying maybe the year to beat this team in the playoffs was last year when they were really, really close. Now they've gotten deeper, and I haven't even mentioned the most important part. This is a young team. The oldest player is Caruso, who is 31 years old. This means they have assets. On top of the draft picks they have, what team is this good and has this much capital? You can't talk to a Thunder fan without them naming a player who you're gonna have to watch out for in a year. Jay Will come in and doesn't even need to have that much impact. Sometimes he is there just so they can have the small lineup. So they've got a perfectly acceptable double big lineup and a perfectly acceptable small one. Back to Wob's tweet at the beginning of the video saying you could split them in half and both teams make the playoffs. Well, definitely one of them makes the East, I know that. So a team that is extremely young has pieces that are getting better. they fit. And right now, there's not really a disease of more, which would be extremely easy to strike this team. Young guys who really, some of them haven't gotten paid. Did not mention that about AJ Mitchell. Yes, they just got him on a 3-year, $9 million. I'm gonna say that again, 3 years, $9 million for a guy who looks like if he had to, he could probably start at the 2 next to Shea. They've already paid their core. You notice I've gone this video with only mentioning J-Dub and not even talking about his impact on the court? Yeah, once again, he was the favorite target of teams who just kind of told OKC, hey, prove it. Cool, y'all were nice in the regular season and we know what Shea is, but what are you? And while he did have some stinkers, he came up huge. Two-way forward with downhill presence, another defender on the wing. I'm sorry guys, this team is impossible. The 2026 Oklahoma City Thunder are in the best position for a team to repeat since, yeah, probably Kevin Durant's Warriors. Mind you, I'm speaking of this in an era where repeating has become a myth. And it will still be extremely hard, don't get me wrong. They were very dominant last year and ran into extremely tough matchups, extremely smart matchups in the playoffs. The one particularly in Denver, I think got better. So nothing is guaranteed, but boy, this is as close to being able to guarantee something as you can get. They have 10 players, I'm gonna repeat that, 10 players who you can solidly say, yes, they should get a lot of minutes. They should be out there contributing something. 10, and almost everything is covered. This team has already won a title when they came into a series shooting poorly from 3 and pretty much playing into the defensive scheme. So seeing that, you aren't really worried about the woes from the arc right now, especially if you're actually watching. I mean, look at the attempts Shea is taking. They are tough. I believe these will get easier the healthier they get. Dynasties are way too hard to predict because they take a lot of luck, but I just want to tell you, these are the pieces of a dynasty, okay? All of it. You've seen certain teams in the last few years just get stuck, whether it was with contracts or they needed to have more assets than they did to continue that core. Right now, they are set to run into none of these issues. And when you look at them relative to the rest of the league, again, I kind of referenced at the beginning how many teams are running one or no point guards. That'll be the biggest flaw in the series against the Thunder for a team like Houston who will show up to the playoffs, and I'm assuming they will have a point guard by then, but in the case that they don't, it can still be competitive. It's just not having a reliable initiator and handler with this many defenders on the floor. No. And while you can find challenges in the West, I kind of agree with what Draymond Green just said. I can't believe he said it, but he did. And he was talking about how the East doesn't really have a chance to win the title this year. He doesn't see a team that really has a shot. And right now, it's 4 games in, but I don't either. This year, they're so deep, I forgot to mention Isaiah Joe, who hasn't played. Guys, that's a whole 41% three-point shooter I'm talking about. You see how I just forgot him? Okay, Lou Dort, go ahead and shoot 10% from 3. We'll swap you for one of the other shooters. You remember in the playoffs when they popped Kenrich Williams in a couple of times just for situational purposes? Oh yeah, they can still do that. Well, if you didn't believe them last year, you really have to now. Let me know in the comment section what you're thinking about the 2026 Thunder. And if you want more content, we do now have memberships on the channel. If you've missed it, I've made my way to NBA TV this year. I'm going to be working with them very regularly, and it's just causing me to look at more content and produce more content. So memberships are a great way to get involved in that. Whether it's me and some coaches going through regular season games, analyzing the fourth quarter of a marquee matchup, behind the scenes stuff for NBA TV and work I'm doing now across multiple channels, live streams after games, member shoutouts, we built it all out. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, the join button is there, and I'm really enjoying this season, so let's have some fun.